The start to UMass Boston's season in conference play was anything but auspicious, going 0-4 to begin their play in the NEHC. But since then, it's been nothing but success for UMass Boston. And today, they are on the precipice of rewriting their history books and perhaps claiming second place all by themselves in the conference standings as they take on Southern Maine this afternoon here at Barry Ice Rink. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Bryan alongside Seth Orensky. As the Beacons take on the Huskies for the second time this season, Southern Maine has taken the last three contests between these two teams, but in NEHC play, UMass Boston has been on a run of 7 straight.
Yeah, it was a really tough start. It all started with Norwich, which is a respectable loss, but then the Beacons, with 3 consecutive games they thought they could have won, including a 4-2 road loss at Southern Maine, where Olivia Petito, who has since transferred from UMass Boston, her lone start of the season, she gave up 2 goals on 8 shots in the first period. The Beacons ended up going down 3-0 midway through the second, couldn't fight their way back in a 4-2 loss. Since then, they have really ridden their anchor in net. Katie Flagg is a big reason why they've been so successful, outscoring opponents 26-2 during this 7-game unbeaten streak. This is a big one for UMass Boston. This is a big weekend. 2 winnable games, but 2 tough teams above 500 in conference. Today, a Southern Maine team who sits at 6-5, coming off a great goaltending performance of their own. Whitney Paget making 78 saves on 80 shots last weekend in a 2-0 week. Tomorrow, a Castleton team that is a little bit ahead of UMass Boston by a half game, but the Beacons beat to start their big winning streak in conference play. That should be another good game tomorrow.
Well, it should be a battle of 2 hot goaltenders here this afternoon, but let's take a look at the NEHC standings first, because you talk about an important game. Why? Well, you have Southern Maine not too far behind. Don't be fooled by their 8-10-2 overall record, 6-4-1 here in conference play, so they can easily leap over UMass Boston into second place today. And in Castleton, you talk about that one tomorrow. The Beacons and Spartans tied in second place heading into the weekend. So 4 huge points at stake here for UMass Boston.
For UMass Boston, every single one of these games is winnable if they play their brand of hockey. And they've really changed how they've been playing hockey. At the beginning of the season, they tried to really keep up with teams, play a wide open game. The last 7 games in conference and even out of conference, in a win over Colby and a strong game against Middlebury, this is a team that starts from goal. If they play solid defense, they don't make any mistakes in the neutral zone, then all they need is 1 or 2 goals. And they've been getting that, especially from that top line of Leffler, Lunn, and Ryan. So this is a big weekend for UMass Boston. They can really pull away with a pair of wins this weekend. Otherwise, they make their road tough. In fact, UMass Boston could find themselves slipping out of the top 4 and have to go on the road, depending on how games like this, winnable games on their home ice, go.
Well, historically, this series has been firmly in the favor of UMass Boston as we take a look at the all-time record, 10-8-2, but that hasn't been the case lately as the Huskies have been able to have some success here against the Beacons.
Southern Maine 2-0-1 the last 3 meetings against the Beacons, and it's been the goaltending. Whitney Paget in the game earlier this year, 36 saves on 38 shots. Last year in the game against Southern Maine here at home, the Beacons outshot Southern Maine 43-14, but all-conference senior goalie Brittany Evangelista came up huge in that one in a 1-0 victory. Even in the 1-1 tie last year, the Beacons have outshot Southern Maine consistently in these games, but haven't been able to come up with the goals. So it'll be interesting to see if the Beacons can do a better job on their own end than they did the first time, but also score a little bit more against this stingy Southern Maine defense.
Well, you talk about that last year's loss against Southern Maine, 1-0 the final back on November 3rd of 2018. Brittany Evangelista with the 43 save shutout and the 43 save shutout and the 1-0 win here for the Huskies. Let's take a look at last year's highlights and the win for Southern Maine.
So on so many different times, cause I got more hits than a disciplined child. So when they see me, everybody barracks. Man, I'm like a young gal, fully barracks. I try teardrops over the massive attack. I only make hits like I work with a racket and back. Look at my jacket and hat, so down berserk, so down to earth. I'm bringing gravity back, adopted by the major. I want my family back. People work hard just to get all their salary.
Welcome back here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Mike O'Brien alongside Seth Orensky as we take a look at the team stats, and it's been a heck of a run here for UMass Boston. We see that goals per game average 2.53, which has them ranked 4th in the NEHC, but defensively is where they're getting it done. I mean, with the exception of Norwich, the Beacons are the second best defensive team in the conference.
Yeah, this is a matchup of two really good defensive teams. The Beacons second in the conference, Southern Maine fourth in the conference. It starts with their senior goalies. The stat that jumps out to me, the Beacons had the leading power play in the conference, scored 4 power play goals against Suffolk last Saturday. Southern Maine towards the bottom at 7.4%. Power play is going to be huge for UMass Boston, especially against the Southern Maine team that takes more penalties than most sides.
And not only that, UMass Boston has the highest special teams net rating in the NEHC and a penalty kill that also ranks first in the conference. Team leaders Katie Leffler has been on a run as of late, leading the team with 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points. She really got it done all weekend long last year.
Leffler has
last
been
weekend.
Huge. 2 goals in the win over Suffolk, the game winner in a 1-0 win over Salem last weekend. For Southern Maine, they don't really have any standouts, but it's a team that is full of depth scoring. Colbert and Nelson are their top 2 goal scorers, but they've got quite a few players who have at least a handful of goals. It's difficult to pinpoint one player that you have to watch.
So let's take a look at the goalie matchup here today, because you spoke of the senior netminders, Katie Flagg and Whitney Paget. It's tough to find 2 goaltenders been playing well over the last better than over the last couple weeks.
2 of the top 4 goalies in the conference. The other 2, the Norwich and Castleton goalies. Paget has been huge. Split starts the last couple years with Evangelista, but has been even better this season. Really strong numbers. Katie Flagg, an anchor in the Beacons net, has played all but the first 20 minutes of that Southern Maine game, and look for her to have another strong start. She's a player who can face a lot of shots and stop them all, or stay attentive when she's not seeing a lot of shots.
Quickly, let's go to our player to watch with Kaylee Kozik. Had a power play goal on Saturday against Suffolk, and she's been big in the NEHC specifically.
Yeah. Kozik's a player who does a lot for you. Very good two-way skater, good back checker, but she's really picked up her offense this season playing on the Beacons' second line. And realistically, those top 2 lines are the goal-scoring lines for UMass Boston.
Let's step aside here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. When we return, we will have your starters for UMass Boston and Southern Maine, your keys to the game, and of course, opening puck drop here on BBN.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. What I want to do is I want to work with women and children transitioning out of sexual slavery in Southeast Asia and helping them to find jobs, find housing, provide counseling, just the things that we kind of take for granted. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope in Cambodia, and it was just an amazing opportunity to just be able to get firsthand experience working with a human rights research project. Cambodia was really ravaged by a genocide, so there's a lot of rebuilding that's happening. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Hello and welcome back here at Barry Ice Rink. Mike O'Brien alongside Seth Orensky. Let's quickly go to the Southern Maine starters with Shannon Douglas, Riley Burnett, and Shannon Colbert beginning up at forward. It's Chelsea Skluzacek and Brianna Doty on the back line. Whitney Paget getting the start as she makes her 18th appearance of the season. And now your UMass Boston Beacon starters.
Bree Colucci, senior defenseman, Lancaster, New York.
Katie Flagg, senior goalie, Methuen, Mass.
Erica Lund, senior forward, Kingston, Massachusetts.
Grace Fisher, senior defenseman, Vienna, Virginia.
Katie Leffler, junior forward, Key Largo, Florida.
Kelsey Ryan, junior forward, Burlington, Mass.
All right, let's quickly get to the keys to the game and score the first goal. I mean, UMass Boston has a record of 9-3-0 when scoring first, but the special teams battle is one you figure UMass Boston has to win.
Yeah, the Beacons do come in with the far superior power play, the penalty kill about the same. Paget has been seeing the puck so well, 53 saves on 54 shots in the win over Plymouth State last Friday, and then a nice game against Salem State where the Huskies were outshot by a large margin, but they still came away with a 3-1 win. That first one's probably the most important. You talked about UMass Boston. Southern Maine this year, 8-2 when scoring first, 0-8-2 when giving up the first goal.
Chances at both ends here for the Beacons and Huskies to start off this game. Breaking up the ice, Bennett, who had the game-winning goal in the 1-0 shutout win November 3rd of 2018. And now Colucci alone behind her own net. Around for Fisher. She can't catch up to that initially, so it's Juliana Nelson. Nelson, NEHC Player of the Week back on January 21st. And now a breakout pass. Ryan will just slide it down the ice. Back to play here. Grace Simmons, the senior defenseman for Southern Maine. And now turning the other way, Jordan Colbert, the younger of the two Colbert sisters on this Southern Maine squad. As Jordan with 4 points in 20 games this season. Her elder sister Shannon, the junior, 11 points in 20 matches. Now a chance here. Paget makes a pad save and the rebound loose there for a moment as Hannah McDougall was looking for her 8th of the year.
Yeah, really nice shot from Kozic, but it was the rebound attempt there from McDougall that was extremely dangerous. Nice kick save coming from Paget.
1.5 gone here so far. As this is kicked out the center. Taking a swipe at that was Falieris. Missed on it. Now a long shoot-in from center ice. Hits off the equipment of Falieris. She seems okay there. And Kozic, a chance to clear and step back behind the own net for Drill. Pass intended for Drill from Buddington. That deflects off a skate. And loose here for Southern Maine. Back up top. Butkus, show line and fire. Off a couple skates. And comes right back to Butkus at the blue line. So she'll hurl it into the corner. Buddington converged upon there by Jill Hannigan. Now Butkus has her pass intercepted. Stick out on the ice looks like it belongs to Butkus, and so it's held on side by Sklusacek. And good possession here by the Huskies, if not a lot of pressure. Drill will circle away for the forecheck here of Southern Maine. Swerve back the other way, trying to find some space. No breakout pass available, so she plays it off the wall. It goes right back to Sklusacek. The defenseman down from the point. Drill getting in her way. Still, the pressure carries on here from Southern Maine as Drill will try and jam it up the boards. Handled there for a moment by Buddington, turned over. And UMass Boston has been hemmed in their own end for the last minute. Again, failure to clear. Comes tantalizingly close to the blue line and finally does exit the zone where Kozic uses her speed to get the puck out the center and all the way down, and a much-needed line change here for UMass Boston.
Mike, we saw this last Friday against Salem State. It was the third line that was really struggling at points to get it out. That time it was a bit of a mix and matched second line, but not what you like to see from UMass Boston, especially this early in the game to find yourself pinned in the zone for well over a minute and a half.
Now it comes free. Lambert works for a backhand. Will stop in the corner. Lambert trying to spin away from the body check coming. Has that puck trapped between her skates and lets it go back to the blue line here for Saxer. Saxer looking for a lane. Drop pass nicely, and across the zone it comes. Colucci will fire towards the net. Partially deflected and now loose behind. Steaming in was Nolan trying to find that loose puck. Lambert looks on as Southern Maine will fire it out to center.
Really good shot block from Kaylee Robert, cutting down the space of Colucci, who's one of the Beacon's better defensemen when it comes to not only putting pucks on target, but putting pucks on target in a place where if she doesn't score, it gives her teammates a chance to get a rebound and potentially put it in.
Nice play off the boards there for Butkus. Now shot from the slot there off the stick of Shannon Colbert, went just high. And it's Buddington hard around the boards for Drill. Drill waits and holds. 2 forecheckers in on her. And a turnover by UMass Boston again. Drill will try a second time. Able to split the D and drive it out the center ice. 2-on-2 up ice here with Ryan. Drill will fire it on Paget from distance. That save is made on a long rebound collected by Bennett. Collision at center ice and a nice stick lift there from Ryan. And it's resetting now. Juliana Nelson and the rest of the Huskies. Not for long as it's turned over here to UMass Boston. Leffler trying to stick hand her way from some back-checking pressure there, and she does. Low shot save made, and the rebound off a body just wide of the far post. That pinballed off of Doty and just missed the wide-open cage.
Yeah, the very tight angle for Leffler, but the rebound nearly going the Beacons' way. As you see a nice save by Padgett. Like to go back to the replay, if we can, of that good shot for Southern Maine in the slot. The Beacons very fortunate. The initial pass actually deflected off the stick of a Beacon right to Colbert, and the shot doesn't miss by much. It beats flag, but fortunately it goes high, and you see that. That is a high-rising shot. Really good look for Southern Maine.
Face-off one ensuing for Kozik. Banged away from her, and it goes off the glove of Fisher right into the Southern Maine Huskies bench as John Lozier enter his 14th season as head coach of Southern Maine, assisted by Cassandra Sherman and Chelsea Boucher.
I really like what we've seen from both of these sides here in the first 5 minutes. A lot of players are taking the puck hard to the net, looking for rebounds. That's the only way you're going to score today. You're not going to score from distance. You're not going to score from shots just inside the blue line. You have to do a little bit more to beat one of these goalies.
Well, the best chance for UMass Boston actually came off a Southern Maine player as Brianna Doty, wrong place, wrong time, but the puck goes just inches wide of the left post, and that's going to be a penalty upcoming here on Grace Simmons. So the Beacons about to head to the power play as it's touched up finally by the Huskies. And so this is one of the keys we talked about here, Seth, owning the special teams battle. And we look at the stats once again here for the power play.
Beacons are the top power play in the country and in the conference at just under 20%, 15 to 77. Really successful last Saturday. Southern Maine, 84%. That's a solid PK. Beacons, though, should feel like they might have a slight advantage on special teams, especially on the power play where they had so much success against the Suffolk University team that's been pretty good this year on the PK.
Beacons 5 for 12 on the man advantage in their last two games, but clicking at just 10.8% on home ice, 4 for 37. Given back to Colucci. Slid over for Lund. Lund with a high rising shot. That went off the tip of Padgett's glove. Stays in the zone here for the Beacons. Across now for Leffler. Given back over to Colucci. Shot towards Padgett. Pinballs along. And nicely regathered here. Set up top once again. Colucci fanned on the pass. Everyone takes a swipe after it. It comes off the wall here for Lund. Now her low shot just misses.
Lund scored a power play goal last weekend in that win over Southern Maine. Feeling pretty good with her shot. With Ryan and Leffler on her line and also working on the power play, she's a player who just feels like she can get in the spot, get a good shot off, and she's going to be really productive.
Comes free here for Sacco. Last two games, power play goal in each of them for her. Now, without a stick there is a Husky defender as UMass Boston looks to take advantage. Instead, Leffler waits and holds. 50 seconds left in the man advantage that UMass Boston has spent the entirety of the offensive zone in so far. Leffler, her one-timer, partially fanned upon. And Buckus will just try and waste a little time. It's dragged free by Leffler. Leffler, free in the high slot. Now drop pass here for Lund. All the way across for Leffler. Into her skates. And just flooded out to the neutral zone here finally by the Huskies penalty kill.
I liked some of the movement UMass Boston has generated with this top unit. The issue is had a few too many shots that have gone right into some Southern Maine players in front. And they've also been maybe not making that extra pass. A couple times we saw Lund not get much behind some of her shots, making it easy on Padgett and the Southern Maine defense.
3 seconds remaining in this man advantage. Kozik trying to make something happen before the Huskies get back to full strength. Instead, it's a turnover. And Southern Maine will break up ice. We're back to 5-on-5. 12 minutes remaining in the first. Still no score here. As second place on the line here in the NEHC. Buddington with an up-man pass. No one there. Coming fresh off the bench, it was Butkus. Now she'll work her way down the right wing. Shot in a pad save by Flag. Quickly gathered by Kozik. Swept away from her. Kozik able to hold on to it before a mass of Husky players converging on her, and it's Drill turning it over. Kaylee Robert, the freshman, in behind the net. Drill trying to shove her off the puck. Does so with a little extra oomph. That goes unwhistled, luckily for UMass Boston, and then Robert was free there for a chance on the near post.
Yeah, Drill's one of those players who plays the game a little bit more physical than most, and pretty much on the line of what's a penalty or not. But a big part of that is just she's a little bit bigger. She's a little bit stronger than a lot of players. Some referees really call the game tight. Thus far, they've given a little bit more room in this contest.
Now Amanda Picnic trying to stop in behind the net. Searches for that puck. That's Nolan. Ultimately handled here by UMass Boston. Kozik with a nice little sidestep move. Just missed. Kehoe breaking out to center ice. And now a time step up there, as that was Lizzie Saxer, who made some contact, her helmet to the shoulder of the Husky player. And Nolan with a low shot. That is stopped by Paget. So Saxer trying to shake off the cobwebs there.
Yeah, Saxer stays on the bench, so she appears to be okay.
Nolan had it taken away, but it goes right back to Kehoe. Now Fisher will wind and fire. Off a skate, make that a stick in front. Getting in the way, Jill Hannigan. Slingshotting out from behind. Katie Nolan. She's able to work by Fisher. Nolan, left corner, floats it in front. Fisher there to gather. Her exit attempt ricocheted off a skate. Now out to the neutral zone once again. We're past the midway point of the first period. Good chances for both sides, but still scoreless at Barry Ice Rink.
Not surprising that the story has been the strong goaltending. Both goalies have made a couple of really good saves, and chances have come at a premium.
Now one coming dangerously towards Flagg's crease. Gloved away, Colucci, who dropped her stick to make that glove play happen, now has her blade back. As Simmons sends it across the blue line for Skluzacek. Pass behind the net, no one there on the other side here for the Huskies. So it's Sacco out for Lund. 2-on-3, onside here for Lund. Trying to toe drag in front, and too much contact there from Simmons. And Simmons will head to the penalty box for the second time here in the first period. Beacon's back to the power play set.
Such a smart play from Erica Lund. Despite not having numbers, she skated hard to the net, recognizing that the defensemen were either going to have to let her have an inside angle to goal and potentially have that puck go off of Paget, maybe create a rebound situation, or they were going to have to provide some physicality. That's a great play by Lund to get the Beacons right back on the power play.
Power play looked good on the first chance for UMass Boston in terms of keeping that puck down in the Huskies zone. Paget only forced to make one or two saves, though, on the man disadvantage.
We're going to see the Beacons start with the second unit. They got out there probably with 10 to 15 seconds left on the first time out. So we'll see what they're able to generate, and if they do struggle, how quickly Dom Losey will potentially change out and get that first unit right back out there.
Drill over for Buddington, now across left circle for Kozik. Buddington holds up at the blue line. Kozik on that left dot again. Across for Drill. Drill will fire, and they score! Jane Ann Drill with the power play goal. Second time is a charm, and the Beacons lead 1-0.
That was an impressive shot from Jane Ann Drill. Top right corner through traffic. It might have taken a deflection, Mike. I think you're right. But there was not much of a channel there. There were players skating through, and Drill able to beat Paget, which has not been easy for anybody to do this year. That's a big one. And remember, Southern Maine winless this season when not scoring the first goal. So that's a really good sign for UMass Boston.
Second goal of the season for Drill, a power play tally. Coming at 11:03 of the first period. And now maybe a chance to extend that lead again. And another power play upcoming here for UMass Boston, as Brianna Doty cannot contend with the speed of Kelsey Ryan, and she'll head to the box for hooking.
Not a bad idea by Doty. We'll take a look at his power play goal if we have it. Doty was kind of forced into that penalty after Ryan took a step on her. And we'll see if we can get it to you now or if we've got to wait for the next stoppage. But a great goal by Drill, and they'll go back to the top power play unit. They'll get the first chance here on this third power play of the game.
1 for 2 already, and scoring just moments ago. It's Colucci. Holding center blue line. Ryan, who drew the penalty, passes back to Colucci. Pass the backhand for Lund. Tried to wind and fire, but defender right on her doorstep. So it's Colucci long distance. Tipped towards Paget just wide. Leffler, good work to get a piece of that. Lund will hold it inside the zone. Colucci once again. Down deep for Ryan. Colucci wanted to widen and fire with a one-timer. Took a moment to settle that puck. That allows the defender to get in the way. Deflect that to the back glass. And it's Leffler retrieving that puck along the boards. Colucci Has Ryan open again. Lund calling for a left circle. Colucci instead down for Ryan again. Has a chance, and that shot blocker saved by Paget. Leffler quickly resets. Ryan was winding up for the one-timer potentially. Nice deflection away that time by the Huskies defense. And that's a second good play that time by Shannon Colbert to get in the passing lane. Sacco. And a 2-on-2 battle for that puck behind the net of Paget. 50 seconds left in the man advantage. Now coming free is Leffler. Leffler has Colucci open in the high slot. She'll fire. And a nice block once again, as that was Colbert for a third time on the PK.
Great job by Colbert there, getting a body, and I think it was actually the skate. It's a really nice job by this top unit, though. Everyone playing their roles well. Mia Sacco didn't really do much in terms of touching the puck, but she's providing screens, keeping the puck in the zone with their physicality.
Now Drill looking for another one on the power play as the second unit back out there with 22 seconds left in the hooking call here on Southern Maine. Drill will take a circle around the zone. Her shot off a stick. That hits the back wall. And Kozik protects that puck along the boards. Caught off, though, nicely by Juliana Nelson. As the power play has expired, Drill will just hold that puck inside the blue line as it rolled up on edge. So 1 for 3 now in the man advantage, but a 1-0 lead here for UMass Boston. Onside, though, transitioning. Maddie Young, the 4'11 freshman. And Drill takes it right away from her, but gives it right back here to Dukas. So Dukas on the ice here with Young and also Picnic. So the all-freshman line here for Southern Maine. And 6:06. Still to go until the first intermission. UMass Boston just firing this out the center ice. Gets some fresh legs. Now turnover here for McDougal. She breaks on side. Pat save on the bid there for McDougal.
Would have loved if Hannah had taken maybe another 1 or 2 seconds on the puck. Gave Paget a pretty good chance to stop that. I think she thought she had a little bit less time than she did.
Now shot blocked by Fisher. Jenna House. In behind the net. Stolen away here by UMass Boston. Sacco. Turned the wrong way initially. Now we'll find that puck along the wall. Not quite out the center yet here for UMass Boston. Saxer, good to see her back out on the ice after she was hit up high earlier in this period. Now Picnic, a reverse pass. Comes rolling along for Butkus. Her shot goes just wide. Now Kehoe, Fisher, and Nolan all dig after it. Nolan sips it free. Nice work there by the senior. And through center for Sacco. Sacco went to wide and fire. Waited a little too long as Butkus came over to make the play. Now maybe numbers here for Southern Maine if they can hurry. Wrist shot block saved by Flag. Puck up in the air. And it looks like we're going to have a penalty here as it was both Colucci and a Southern Maine player to be identified. That was Katie Nolan making contact with Katie Flag.
Yeah, this is an interesting call. I don't mind Colucci going hard into the player just because that's such a dangerous play with the puck up. You don't want to have it potentially come down. It looks like we're going to get a penalty. First, let's take a look at a replay. This is actually the play. That's so dangerous with the puck up there. And Colucci, I mean, that's kind of both players going for the puck, but I think with the first 3 penalties going against Southern Maine, especially with that second one where Southern Maine thought that it shouldn't have been a call, they'll get the Beacons for their first penalty of the day.
So power play here for Southern Maine, clicking at 7.4%, just 6 for 81 this season. Meanwhile, the penalty kill for UMass Boston, converting at 87.5%. And Flag with a nice save there on a chance in tight.
Big play by Saxter to clear up that rebound that was just sitting there.
And a nice redirect over the net that time by Douglas that just missed.
Buddington's going to go.
And Buddington going to go, so it looks like we're going to have a 5-on-3 advantage. For a power play that's only scored 8, make that 6 times this season, Southern Maine looking pretty good here in the early going.
Yeah, this is the goal from Jane Ann Drill, and I think you're right. I think it deflects off of the defenseman in front, but they're moving the puck well. That's what we saw to UMass Boston. We'll see a little bit better. I don't know if we really have it from that angle, but you're seeing Southern Maine move the puck well, and Buddington just a bit overly physical there to give Southern Maine a 5-on-3 here for almost a minute and a half.
Long time here on the two-man advantage for Southern Maine. Walking in now, Doty. Pass off the mark initially. Nice turn away by Bennett. So Doty controlling along the half wall. Touch pass over to Butkus. Save made. Rebound, though. Swiped at. Not out to center ice. McDougal, the freshman, getting extended penalty kill time. Great block by Kozik to try and kick it out to center ice. Helped along by Douglas. And the PK unit will change up.
And, Mike, this is interesting. The Beacons only dress 5 defensemen with 2 defensemen in the box. This is 2 forwards and a defenseman. You rarely see that out of a team, but the Beacons not willing to go with 2 defensemen and only have 1 fresh defenseman off the bench.
Leffler with a timely stick check there to get the puck loose. Cleared out by Drill, who will head to the bench to switch up. UMass Boston getting a man back now in a half minute. 3:09 left in the first period. 1-0 Beacons lead, but the Huskies trying to respond here on their first power play and second power play of the game. Now shot past a screen flag that went wide. Kicks off the corner boards. Simmons, one-timer from the point. That's redirected wide as Jill Hannigan got to tip. Ready to come out of the box is Colucci. She'll join the PK unit initially. And then Saxer tried to let that go to Leffler. Miscommunication there that will keep the puck inside the zone for the time being. Leffler taking matters in her own hands, and out the center she'll skate it.
That was a dangerous play there from a Southern Maine player. Looked like it was Katie Nolan. A couple slashes there on Leffler skating out of the zone. Could have been called.
And Colucci could have been called for a hook right there. That went unwhistled. And shot all the way down the ice. Now we'll do it as UMass Boston escapes a 2-man disadvantage. They're back to full strength with just over 2 minutes to go here in the first. Now end here, and a blocker save there on the shot by Doty. Doty looking for her second this season. Now turnover at the point. Butkus has been getting a ton of time. Now redirect from the high slot. Oh, that was Colbert once again.
Colbert has tremendous hands and tremendous vision, was great on the PK, and now with another great redirection. She is very dangerous.
Colbert, who has just 1 assist in her last 5 games, now backhand shot that goes through the crease out the other side. Now towards the near post, flag able to stop it there, and shot out to center by the Beacons.
Really like where Southern Maine is putting the puck. They're putting it in some really dangerous spots. That was a play where Southern Maine really didn't have anything, but let's throw it to the front of the net, see if anything happened, and Colucci almost put it in her own net.
Valieris trying to get going once again after initial success after returning from injury. Valieris knocked to the ice, and she draws a penalty after she makes some moves to get loose at the top of the crease. And a 4th power play about to begin here in the first period for UMass Boston.
4 players end up in the crease there. Fallier is taken down by a pair of Huskies, and Paget sprawls out. That's just the strength of Ellie Fallieris there, able to fight through a couple Huskies trying to deny her net access, and it'll be Nolan who goes to the box here. This is a big chance for UMass Boston. Southern Maine buzzing a little bit with the PK, and you see that's one of the great chances for Colbert on the redirection. Big chance for UMass Boston to potentially add to their lead and take some of the momentum back.
UMass Boston scoring on their second power play, courtesy of Jane Ann Drill, and a shot that went off of the stick of Michaela Butkus into the top corner. Addie Buddington getting the assist on that goal. Now dumped in deep behind the net. Simmons will try and twirl it out to center, does so, as that just eludes the reach of Ryan.
Yeah, nice job by Southern Maine, denying the Beacons setting up in the zone in each of their first 2 attempts, taking a lot of the time off the clock to begin this power play.
Now Ryan waits for everyone to hold the blue line. Ryan will take her spot down the corner and pass up top here for Colucci. Colucci with a wrist shot. Nice block that time by Douglas. It cannot be cleared here.
Southern Maine's done a great job of taking that shot from Colucci away. They've gotten the shooting lane every single time. Really hasn't been able to trouble Paget from the top of the slot.
Now Lund able to sidestep Jordan Colbert. Lund near side here in front for Ryan. And now Colucci will line and fire. Blocked towards, swiped at, towards the top of the crease, and into the net it goes.
It's Sacco's goal off the skate of the Beacons freshman in front. What a great job of fighting for that puck, keeping it alive.
With 0.3 seconds remaining in the first period, a second power play goal makes it 2-0. And if that's Sacco's goal, that would be a power play goal for the third straight game.
It should be Sacco's goal. We'll take a look at the replay, but I think it clearly goes off of her skate there. Initially, it was Ryan who was wide open, but the pass was a little bit late getting to her, so the goalie got back over. Colucci followed the play, and the puck was bouncing around in front after a Ryan look, and it looked like it went off the back of the skate of Sacco. We'll take a look as soon as we have it for you. But how huge is that for UMass Boston to get a second one on the power play? I hate those power plays. If you're a fan, if you're a player, when you know it's going to be cut in half, you really feel like you've got to really get something going in the first half of the power play, because otherwise you start at center ice, it makes things more difficult. So we'll take a look at it right here. Just a mad scramble in front. It starts with Ryan. That shot gets deflected. Here comes Colucci bouncing around, and I think it goes off the back of the skate of Sacco and in. We'll have to take a look down low. This will give us a better angle. But Ryan's fighting for it. Colucci comes forward, and what does this puck go off of? It goes through the 5-hole.
I think it goes off the skate of Shannon Douglas, so that would count as Kelsey Ryan's goal, and if that stands true, that's her 7th of the season. Either way, it counts for UMass Boston as it just sneaks through the pads of Padgett, who couldn't clamp them fast enough. Ever so slowly found its way to the back of the net.
Yeah, that's devastating if you're Southern Maine, exhilarating if you're UMass Boston, and the Beacons, I don't think they've dominated this game, but they've had enough power play chances, and they've taken advantage on the power play. We thought special teams would be a place where the Beacons could have an edge. It certainly has been the difference thus far.
2 power play goals and a 2-0 lead here for UMass Boston. And before we take a break here during the first intermission, we now take a look at our Beacon Spotlight. And in the span of 6 months, Lizzie Saxer found out she had a brain tumor, underwent surgery, suffered through a ton of complications, but able to make it back to school and onto the ice as Lizzie Saxer, the focus of this afternoon's Beacon Spotlight.
Last spring semester, come finals week, I was starting just to get some weird headaches and started noticing like vision problems when I was trying to study and like read textbooks. So I went to my regular doctor and she said, okay, let's go see the eye doctor. And when I went and saw him, he was like, yeah, it's nothing wrong with your eyes. You need to go see a neurologist. So I was like, okay, you know, it's coming up on summer. So I waited and I went home to Colorado and got an MRI and saw an endocrinologist and a neurologist and an ENT. And they said, yeah, you have a brain tumor and we're gonna need to get it removed. So I was like, all right. I was scared, obviously, at first, but, you know, they didn't know if it was benign or not. And we did some testing and, you know, more MRIs and everything. And they thought, you know, like, this should be all right. It looks benign. Like, we're just going to have to go in and just take it out. So that's kind of the start of it, I guess. I'd say our reactions, you know, when we first found out, everyone was scared. You know, I think my family tried to put on a really good face for me and they all stayed really strong, but obviously behind closed doors, I think, you know, they were really scared. And I mean, when I first found out, I just started crying. You know, I was really scared, but I knew, you know, it was this, or my tumor was on my optic nerve and in my pituitary gland. So if I didn't have it, I had the chance of losing my vision. So obviously, you know, I kind of looked at it like I have to do this and I'm, you know, going to go on it with the best attitude I can and just hope for the best. So I think, you know, being scared was a part of it, but also being hopeful and excited to not have these headaches and be able to see better again was kind of on my mind too. So I went in a couple weeks before July 29th. We did an MRI so they could make the path of the surgery. They went through my nose. So on July 29th, they went in and they went through my nose. They got the tumor out. They're texting my parents during the whole thing, so I think that kind of helped, like, relax them a little bit. And then they were able to get 80% of it, so that was really good. And then 2 days later, I had a spinal fluid leak, so I had to go in for emergency surgery. They cut a piece of my stomach and shoved it up there and plugged the leak. And then I was in the hospital for 17 days because I had pretty much every complication you could have. I ended up with diabetes insipidus, but, I just take medicine for that and it's all good now. But, that first few weeks after was pretty tough. I was just so sick. I was definitely worried that life was going to change and be a little different, after this. Honestly, all my doctors said I should take the first semester off and not come back to school. They definitely didn't think I would be playing hockey. That wasn't even on the table at first. And for me, it wasn't either. I was, obviously I was really sad because it's my senior year, but I was like, I have to do what's best for me, and I'll still be there supporting the team. And then I just started feeling better and better, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going back to school. There's no way I'm staying here. I definitely feel like I can do this. And then just slowly worked on just getting back in shape. I literally laid in bed for a month, so it was definitely hard to kind of get back into it. But my teammates, my family, and my coaches, everyone was really supportive of me and getting back into it. So definitely didn't think it would happen, but really happy it did. My recovery, obviously I wasn't allowed to do anything for a month. I couldn't lift anything more than a gallon of milk. So I went from that and just coming back to school, just even walking around to classes, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so sore. And just little things, I couldn't bring my groceries up. So my roommates, luckily they're awesome. They always helped me bring everything up, from the Gatorades to anything I needed. They were really supportive. So that was a huge help. And then just slowly starting to, come back and walking around campus more, just little by little, and then getting on the bike, and then just trying to get on the ice. And Alexa, our trainer, she was really helpful, and she helped me kind of work through and little pieces and what I could do to start getting back, and then just slowly started getting conditioned. So definitely it was a process, but it definitely worked out. It means so much to be back, getting healthy again, working through, just finding a balance of taking the right medicine for my diabetes and everything. I feel so much better. I feel like myself again, and it just means the world to be able to be a part of this team, because we are really stepping up this second half. We're having a really good run right now, so it means a lot to be a part of that, especially with such a short bench. I think every single person on this team makes an impact, so I'm really happy I could be a part of that and just feeling good again.
What a journey here for Lizzie Saxer to get back on the ice this season. Her team up 2-0 over Southern Maine after one period of play. Let's take a look at the stats from that first period. A period that wasn't necessarily dominated by UMass Boston. 13 shots to 9 for Southern Maine, but you take a look at the power play battle, and that's where the difference was in the first 20 minutes of hockey, Seth.
That is where the difference is. 2 goals on 4 chances for the Beacons. Southern Maine 0 for 2, including a lengthy 5-on-3 against the Beacons. I'm surprised. The Beacons are only credited with 4 shots on target on power play. Southern Maine 3. Beacons probably attempted about 10 or 12, but a lot of shot blocks, a lot of looks that went just wide. That's really where they've generated their best offense, and it's not surprised that it's been difficult to beat these 2 goalies. For the Beacons, 1 shot that was deflected top corner. Most goalies are never going to make that save on the drill goal. And then that Ryan goal, that was a fortuitous deflection. It's difficult to beat these goalies, and we've seen them when it's a one-on-one chance. It's really difficult for the forwards to come up with anything.
Also, look at the face-offs. 10 for 12 there for UMass Boston. So not only getting on the power play, but getting the puck, keeping inside the zone once right away. So putting a lot of pressure there on the Huskies penalty kill. As we look at the scoring summary here from the first period, Jane Ann Drill, the defenseman, her second of the season, coming at 11:03 of the first period, a power play goal. And it was Kelsey Ryan, also a power play goal. It actually came at 19:59 with 0.3 seconds to go.
Rather than 3 seconds to go. Really, really lucky there. And it was clear that it went over before the period expired. They did that one last face-off, but really huge for UMass Boston, because Southern Maine created a little bit of momentum back. They were getting back into the game with their 5-on-3 chance, despite the fact they didn't score. It'll be interesting to see how the 2 teams react, especially considering Southern Maine's worst period this year has been the second, outscored 24-12.
These first intermission stats are brought to you by PS Gourmet Coffee. With 3 locations in the Boston area, PS Gourmet Coffee offers over 100 flavors, each made with fresh brewed coffee. Home of the bucket, PS Gourmet Coffee. As we go around, Beaconville now as track and field competing at the NEICAAA Championship. And men's hockey getting after it against number 1 Norwich University later today, 7 p.m. The puck drop. Be there or be square.
Should be a good one. The Beacons outshot Norwich 35-14 the first time those two teams met back in November, but the Beacons fell 5-3 as freshman Sam Best made just 9 saves on 14 shots in his first collegiate start. He's been huge the last couple of weeks. Expect a much better performance from him as the Beacons look for their 3rd win in 9 years over a top-ranked Norwich squad.
Well, big weekend last weekend. 2 straight wins to extend the winning streak here for UMass Boston to 7, and some history made in the process. Katie Flagg recording a all-time record 5th shutout this season and also becoming the all-time leader with her 7th career shutout. It all started on Friday in a 1-0 win over Salem State. In front for Ryan. Now Colucci will line and fire. Puck towards, swipe that towards the top of the crease, and into the net it goes. Nice win over Salem State to sweep that season series as we go now to the NEHC scoreboard as Suffolk and New England College tied up at 1 after 1 period of play. Later on today, Castleton and Johnson Wales. That is a game that will have direct impact on where UMass Boston ends up in the standings by night's end. Anna Maria visiting Plymouth State, and Norwich will try and take down Salem State as that game underway right now, so it seems. And with that, let's look ahead now for UMass Boston tomorrow here against Castleton, in what should be a battle of number 2 versus number 3 somehow in the NEHC. Back on home ice next Tuesday for the final game of this 4-game home stretch. Make that the penultimate game of the 4-game home stretch, the final game of the 4-game home stretch next Saturday against Plymouth State, right now standing at 7th in the NEHC standings. So let's take a look back at the first period. 2-0 lead for UMass Boston, and so let's review the highlights for the Beacons in that first 20 minutes of hockey, as Southern Maine actually started off with a good chance to begin this contest, but UMass Boston would start to get back into this one thanks to the power play. Jane Ann Drill with the power play goal to make it 1-0 at that point as we drill from the right circle, winding back, letting loose. That may have gone off the stick of number 4 there, Michaela Butkus. Either way, it translates to the second goal of the season here for Drill. And then Paget continues to be under siege on the power play. There's Kelsey Ryan denied on this chance. She would find the back net later in the game. 5-on-3 advantage here for Southern Maine. That the pound and kill for the Beacons and Katie Flagg able to turn aside. Big moment there as Flagg was forced to make a couple of big saves. Now, this is right before the end of the period. The pinballing puck that goes back to Colucci. Her shot blocked in front. Goes rolling around before it deflects off the skate of Shannon Douglas and into the net. We think that's going to count as Kelsey Ryan's goal, her 7th of the season. And she makes it a 2-0 lead just before the intermission.
Yeah, it's a really tough break for Southern Maine, as we'll take a look at it one final time. Goes off the inside of the skate of a Southern Maine defenseman, never sees it, and with less than a second to go, but the Beacons able to take advantage of some of their chances. And Mike, it's kind of the way things have gone for this Beacons team. The beginning of the season, all the breaks kind of went against them. They went 0-4 to begin their season, a couple of tough losses in games that they led. Since then, they've been the team that's starting to get the bounces, have allowed just 2 goals during this 7-game winning streak plus a period.
Let's take a quick aside here. When we return, we'll have your second period of play on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Second period about to commence here. Mike O'Brien alongside Seth Renski. As the Beacons now traveling right to left on your video screen. Onside for Ryan. And she'll dip around Sklusacek. Ryan gets her own pass to the blue line for Colucci. Back over to Ryan. A little pitch and catch here from the 2 Beacons players. We'll slide it in behind for Lund. Give it along for Leffler. Sidesteps the defense. Leffler will tiptoe along. Now fires over Colucci. Colucci looking back door. Second chance comes in on Paget. She directs that behind the net. And Southern Maine will finally break the press. Nice exit there for Shannon Douglas. 5 points and a +6 rating in her last 6 games. Of course, she had the bad break at the end of the first period with that shot that went off her skate. And now a shot from a point from Simmons and finds the top corner. So no shutout this afternoon for Katie Flagg, and Southern Maine strikes 51 seconds in to cut this UMass Boston lead in half.
We heard from Katie Flagg last Friday, and her big focus was the fact that if she sees pucks, she's going to be able to stop them more often than not. She was really upset with Bree Colucci there. She thought that Colucci took away her eyes, made that a lot tougher right after the goal. Those two had words, and I think she's right in that instance. It looked like she never saw the good shot from Grace Simmons. And what a response from Southern Maine. You wondered if which team could take the advantage of that late goal. Southern Maine using the 15-minute break to come out a little bit stronger.
So maybe UMass Boston with the response, but the pass from Falieris after she had crossed the blue line, so offside here.
And let's take a look at this replay and just look for the eyes of Flagg. This is a really good shot, but you see Colucci kind of shielding the player, and Colucci's not engaged with the forward there. So that's a situation where she didn't have to be in Flagg's way trying to fight for it, just kind of a little bit late getting over, and that made it more difficult on Flagg to make the save.
So Southern Maine with all sorts of momentum here to begin this second period. Grace Simmons getting her first of the season, and the senior has made it 2-1. As the Huskies continue to pressure. McDougall knocks it out to center ice. Back to the possession of the Huskies. In the zone now for Nolan. Backhand shot stopped by Flagg. Nolan getting her own rebound. She's tied up behind the net. And that time pitching down from the blue line was Jill Hannigan. Second period has been the toughest period goal differential-wise this season for Southern Maine. Being outscored 12-24, as you alluded to, Seth. Meanwhile, UMass Boston plus 10 in the second period, 22-12. So on paper, this is a second period that should favor UMass Boston, but that is anything but the case right now in the early going.
Yeah, and the other thing that's surprised me in this game has been the team speed of Southern Maine. Typically, the Beacons are a team that, with the level of talent and athleticism, they're typically the faster team. Southern Maine has used their speed effectively today. They were able to skate with the Beacons, and that's why they've been able to generate some good chances.
Timely stick lift there as Nolan tried to push the offense up ice. Now Nolan, maybe a 2-on-1 here with Kehoe if she hurries. Nolan with a shot, and that's snagged by Paget. Trying to fool Paget, but Nolan was looking shot the entire way.
And it's interesting right now, Paget having a conversation with one of her forwards. It's Douglas, and I don't know if Douglas was making that more difficult, the one player back. But both of these goalies, as seniors, leaders out on the ice, really trying to do a good job communicating what they need out of the players who are skating in front of them.
Lund first that puck behind the net. Now loose here on the side of the net. Leffler unable to gather it up quickly enough as Lund down to the ice. As on top of her, Amanda Picnic. Picnic circles out of the corner. Too hard on that exit pass. Now Drill turns it over. There was Robert. Couldn't do much with it as Drill able to regroup.
I think the Southern Maine player was so shocked that the puck was in front of them that it actually made it difficult for her to kind of corral the puck and get something going. That could have been a horrific turnover right at the blue line.
Now Leffler showing off the speed. Nice check from behind to get that puck loose. Lund over to Ryan. Coming over to break up that potential rush was Douglas once again make that Picnic. And Simmons, the goal scorer here for Southern Maine, chips up the boards, not out. Lund into the corner, but line change time here for UMass Boston with just under 4 minutes played here in the second period. Fisher will just bang this away from pressure. And delayed offside will give the Beacons fresh pass out to center ice as Fisher, her shot off the back wall. Kozik, she'll wind and fire, never reached the intended target. Kozik quickly turns on the Jets. Kozik in front. Right there was McDougal, who was surprised that puck made it all the way across the crease and out the other side.
Great look from Kozik. Unfortunate because McDougal was unmarked on the near side. Paget was slow to move over. She'd been able to get anything on that towards goal. It likely would have been a 3-1 lead.
Now Kozik with McDougal trailing on the play. Kozik able to stick handle away. Now free here. Shot and a save made. Still loose back to the blue line. As that was Falieres looking to find a goal here for UMass Boston. Colucci will smack it down in a high slot for McDougal. Shot, glove saved by Paget as that knuckled into the glove of the Huskies netminder. But stick detail so important as McDougal, one of the better freshman scorers in the NEHC, but you'll learn quickly, keep your stick on the ice and good things will happen.
Yeah, unable to get her stick down in time there, unable to put anything on that as we see a replay here of one of those chances. That's the Falieres look in the rebound. Give Southern Maine a ton of credit as there's another shot that gets deflected up. 11 block shots in the first period, already a couple more here in the second. They have taken away the Beacons' defensemen taking shots from distance and have really put the pressure on the Beacons forwards to create down low.
As Kehoe took a check down the corner, perhaps trying to draw the call that goes unwhistled. Sklusichek. Double team along the boards. No matter, Southern Maine has it out to center ice. Nolan will take a beneficial redirect there for the Beacons. Unable to get it deep. Now Saxer off the wall. And Sacco all the way down. Sacco tried to anticipate that pass. Didn't have the speed to get there, though. But still will free it up here for Nolan. Over to Ryan. Ryan looking for a second. Got something on that shot, forcing Paget to make a tough pad save. And now off the bench, it's Lund, keeping it onside. Shot blocked once again. That time was Buckus, but a bad turnover here by the defender. Saxer walks in. That shot's blocked that time by Shannon Colbert.
Just took way too much time. Saxer looked like she had an actual shot lane to begin, but Colbert closed her down quickly, and I've seen that too often today for the Beacons.
Now Leffler nicely played that puck up to her stick from her boot, but by the time she did so, again, the defender in position to block that shot. Colucci winds her way through center. Met there along the boards by Butkus. That's a good battle between two defensemen.
Yeah, the Beacons had a promising chance to begin, but Colucci took it out wide right with the defenseman into the boards. It was possible 4-on-2.
Backhand shot from Colucci. And again, flashing that pad was Paget. No icing. Buddington able to hit Leffler behind the net. Now Buddington off the boards. A little too far for her. Support there from Leffler. And stolen back away, Juliana Nelson. Nelson, who had just 1 assist in 26 games as a sophomore, breaking out here in her, make that as a freshman, breaking out in her sophomore season with 7 goals and 10 points here through 20 games. Nelson tied for the team lead with 7 goals here this season. Fisher hard off the boards. Kozik unable to corral that cleanly. And it looks like it stayed onside. So heading down low, Amanda Crowley, one of 6 freshmen on this Huskies side. But they are dominated by the sophomore class, 8.
We're going to see a penalty on Southern Maine. Kozik got rubbed right into the bench in front of her teammates. That's, I think, going to be Nolan once again going to the box. And I think it could be the spark the Beacons need. It really seems like Southern Maine has been the better team 5-on-5, not only because they've outscored the Beacons 1-0, but because they've been able to generate some chances. And this is the first penalty of the period on Southern Maine, but already 5 for the game. And we'll see if the Beacons can get another power play goal. 4 last Saturday against Suffolk, already 2 on 4 chances today.
And Lund able to win another face-off here for UMass Boston. Lund crisscrosses with Colucci. Now Lund working the center point as Colucci wound up for the one-timer. She fires from the hash marks. That's blocked once again. And who else but Shannon Colbert? How many times have we mentioned her name on the penalty kill?
Just so many bodies in front. I feel like the Beacons, as that was nearly a bad turnover. Flag and Colucci miscommunicating. The puck goes off of Flag after she had released it to Colucci. I think the Beacons need to try to get a little bit wider on this power play. They're looking to get that shot from the top of the slot. And it's just not getting all the way through on Padgett.
So Colucci from the left side blue line. Again, could not get that shot through traffic. And Lund just had it squeak by her out to center ice.
Yeah, even that time, Colucci was looking for the shot pass, trying to put it wide, hoping for a deflection or it goes off the boards to help a teammate. And this has been a lazy beginning to the power play for UMass Boston. A couple of miscues in their own zone that have led to some many chances for Southern Maine.
Now out here for Leffler. Still 50 seconds to go in this power play as Kehoe make that sack, almost took it away from her own teammate. And the puck jarred free. And there was Buddington to hold it onside, but all she did was stop it here for Jill Hannigan, and the captain will take it in shorthanded. Hannigan stopped by Buddington and Drill behind the net. Drill with a little shove that sends Hannigan flying. The near referee didn't get it, but the far one did.
Yeah, Drill went through her own teammate and the Southern Maine player for the penalty. And Mike, this has been the worst looking power play of the day for UMass Boston. Just some careless miscues. The turnover by Buddington there at the blue line, not that it was her fault necessarily, as you see the push there from Drill. It just felt a little bit lackadaisical for the Beacons, and now they're going to be on the kill in 26 seconds for almost a full 90.
So 4-on-4 hockey here for a bit. If I remember correctly, I believe that goal in Salem State. Now that's a power play goal. I thought it was a 4-on-4 goal. Now Colucci trying to make something happen before the Huskies hop here on the man advantage. This will be their third power play that now begins as heading to the box. Make that the bench. Katie Nolan should be placed on the ice. And now Jordan Colbert with a shot from the sidewall, and that's stopped there by Flag as we have 1 second to go before the midway point of the second period and match overall.
Southern Maine 0-for-2 on the power play in the first period, the majority of that being a 5-on-3. Moved the puck well, but only able to put 3 shots on target. See if they can generate a little bit more here on their third chance and first chance of the second period.
As Flag watches that shot is blocked in front of her. The point for Doty. Nice crisscross passing there as open was Bennett. Couldn't get much on that shot though.
Very different setup. Southern Maine moving players around. The Beacons really like their players in the same spot. As we're going to see a penalty here on the Beacons. I think it's going to be Fisher called for a check. Second 5-on-3. And both times it's a defenseman going. So the Beacons, for the second time today, will have a 5-on-3 penalty kill with 2 defensemen in the box.
And this one a bit shorter than the last one. That one was more than meant. This is 49 seconds, but unnecessary penalties at unnecessary times, as you can see Fisher.
That's a clean play in the men's game. It's too much physicality in the women's game, unfortunately, and it puts a lot of pressure on these penalty killers.
Butkus off the wall here for Shannon Colbert. In behind Douglas. And a shot from Doty. Just whizzes wide, a flag, as Leffler will just watch as Butkus retrieves that puck now for the Huskies. Colbert's shot blocked by Colucci. And Flag likes to see that, I'm sure. Little give and go intended for Colbert, but now a shot and a pass, and then a second shot, third shot, all blocked. And back to the point here for Butkus. She'll wind and fire. Flag with another pass save. Now the rebound loose. Stopped by Flag on the far post, and she'll freeze it for the whistle.
Really good job there by Bree Colucci. The initial shot block, there was a rebound sitting right in the crease that she was able to knock away. Made it a little bit easier on Flag. Yes, I'm sure Katie doesn't want to see 3-4 shots in a sequence, but at least those shots were coming from a little bit further away. She had her eyes. She was able to square up to the puck, and that is really all Katie Flag has needed this season. When she's been able to see it, she's been able to stop it for the most part.
Face-off ultimately controlled here by the Huskies, as it'll be 5-on-4 in 3 seconds. As Joe getting ready to hop out of the box, that was a knuckling puck that landed in behind the net after it hit off a couple players. And an off the wall and out here for Drill. She'll drag it along, passes up for Kozik. Too far for her, but win-win situation as this gets this puck pinned down behind the Huskies net. And then all the way out to the Beacons logo for Katie Nolan. Nolan with a shot, and that is stopped by Flag, who had to fight that off and is able to get it under the leg pad just barely.
Yeah, Nolan didn't get a ton behind it, but there was a defenseman right in front of her. I'm not sure when Flag saw it. It probably came very late. Difficult save there for Flag, who's been tested early and often during this 5-on-3 and now 5-on-4.
Still 42 seconds left in the 5-on-4 power play for Southern Maine. It was 2-0 for UMass Boston, scoring twice on the power play in that first period. Huskies have responded here early, even strength, and now looking to tie the score. Shot from the left circle, wide of Flag. Butkus passes down low, dangerously in the area was Bennett. She'll hold up behind the net. Handed off for Doty. Doty's shot. Ricochets away. 12 seconds until Fisher comes out of the penalty box. She already has one leg over the boards. Desperate to get back on the ice. Now circle to circle, broken up here, and maybe UMass Boston can get something going here. 2-on-1. As Leffler leaves it here for Nolan. Now for Ryan. Ryan backhand shot, just missed. Ryan gets her own rebound as the Beacons buzzing now. Saxer to the high slot. Toe drags along. Saxer backhand shot and a glove save by Paget.
I love that play from Kelsey Ryan. First in the defensive zone, has her stick down, doesn't recognize that the player is cutting in behind her, but breaks up the pass nonetheless, and then follows it up. It looked like both Leffler and Nolan would have chances. Both of them dispossessed of the puck. You see Nolan skating hard. The double team comes. Ryan follows it up. Great backhand shot that goes just wide. Also, might have been a little high over the bar, but really nice chance coming out of the box and getting a chance.
Now Drill walks away. Her shot goes to the equipment of Paget and out the other side.
Yeah, it looked like it handcuffed Paget there. She was hoping for the glove save and couldn't quite hold on.
Puck still loose down in the Huskies' end. Picnic had it poked away. Follow up there, though, by Jill Hannigan out in the neutral zone. UMass Boston picks it right back off. Over to Sacco, who beat Crowley to the puck. Sacco with a firm height advantage over the 5'2" Crowley. And past the stick of Buddington and down towards the blue line of the Beacons end. Drill wants to stretch it out. Tapped down by Kehoe. No one there for UMass Boston. So Simmons will find some solace behind her own net, but not for long, as strong forechecking coming that time from Nolan. And in a centering pass, it goes off a stick all the way up top here for Buddington. Nolan, what a move in front. Had Kehoe there, couldn't get the shot off.
Julia's had a really nice game. Doesn't have a point in the contest, but she's been able to create a couple chances. Looks like she's having one of her better skating games of the season. Really good speed from her today.
And now Falieris able to split the defense. Goes backhand shot, and that just missed. 1-on-3. Falieris able to create a great opportunity for herself.
Yeah, typically you want to put that on target, but with the fact that the Beacons were in the midst of a change, she was the only player out there. I don't mind getting a little bit more aggressive, knowing that you have to score in that situation. No one's going to kind of follow up a fat, juicy rebound in front.
It remains 2-1 here for UMass Boston. Saxer, her headman pass denied by the good defense of Butkus. She was +3 in that win over Salem State last weekend. And now Saxer trying to guide it along. No one wants it here for either team, it seems, before it finally finds Dukas for a 2-on-1. Dukas onside, fires, pad save there by Paget. Make that flag, excuse me.
Right decision by Grace Fisher. Mini 2-on-1 with the trailer coming in slowly. She trusts her goalie, cuts it down, and that was a good chance, but Flag able to get a piece of it with the shoulder and send it wide.
Now Fisher. Through the legs of Falieris and on Paget. She'll wisely get the cover with players bearing down in on her, which leaves up with 4:43 to go until the second intermission. It is still a 1-goal lead for the Beacons.
Take a look at this 2-on-1 chance, and you see Fisher communicating with Flag. I'm going to take the player out wide. It's a good shot here. Goes off the right shoulder of Flag, up and out of the play. And another big save from Katie Flag, who's had to be the Beacons' best player all season.
Earning her third Goalie of the Week honors in the NEHC this past week. She's allowed 2 goals or less in 14 of her 18 starts so far this year.
Yeah, and has really been so good during this 7-game winning streak. We mentioned Beacons outscoring their opponents 26-2. You look at the goals, and sure, each one of those, there's a reason that Katie was beaten. Today, it was that she really couldn't see the puck. It's just so difficult to beat her during this scoring streak, and it's kept the Beacons competitive ever since they started 0-4 in conference.
They're going to call icing here on UMass Boston as let's continue the praise of Katie Flag, and why wouldn't we? 39 saves in that win over Suffolk, so it wasn't like that was an easy time of it on Saturday for Katie Flag and UMass Boston. Right now, first in the NEHC with a .942 save percentage, second in the conference with a 1.81 goals against average.
And that includes some tough starts early on as we see Flag make 1-2, and then the rebound tipped home.
Well, Flag doing all she can on that series. 2 saves, but the third time finds the back of net, and Southern Maine has erased a 2-goal deficit, and we're all tied up 2-2. Amanda Crowley getting her first career goal.
First collegiate point. Crowley left all alone, and those are the kind of goals that Flag gives up, and it's goals where the defenseman has to clear it. It's not one chance, it's not 2 chances, it's the third chance there falling to Crowley. 2 point-blank saves, and that's a difficult one as Southern Maine has fought their way all the way back in just a momentary lapse from UMass Boston. We've seen that throughout this season where the defensemen aren't there in front to clean up a couple times, and that's really caused some problems.
So let's reset. We'll do it again. 2-2 the score. Falieris has it poked away as Paget able to find that puck through the tangle of legs.
Take a look. It's the chances in front right off of the faceoff. Good backhand. It's not even a backhand feed. It's just Nolan taking it hard to the net. Her first and second chances stopped, but rebound falls to Crowley ultimately. You see one. Actually, the rebound floats, so it's the initial one that goes off of Flag, the second actual shot, and then the third one is the puck kind of just skitters through to the back post.
Yeah, Colucci and Buddington perhaps guilty of a little pucker player watching on that one.
Got to have a body at that back post helping out your goalie. And Southern Maine has outscored the Beacons 2-0 and 5-on-5. The Beacons are outscoring Southern Maine 2-0 on special teams. Really interesting to see. I'm assuming that the conversation in the Beacons locker room, Dom Losey's going to be pretty upset with her group. They have not played as well 5-on-5 as we've seen them the last couple weeks.
And now a chance there, Flag. unable to stop it as a bad turnover by UMass Boston, their own end, and 3 goals here in the second period for the Huskies, and they have taken a 3-2 lead.
Peyton Dukas, the freshman, with her first collegiate goal. 2 freshmen with collegiate goals in about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. I'd use my timeout. I think the Beacons are going to. Right now, that's a momentum goal, and flag, it looked like that puck was coming up at her shoulder, and she couldn't quite get it, whether it went off the shoulder and in or just underneath the armpit. That is a goal she would like to have back, and another miscue in the Beacons' defensive zone.
So Grace Simmons, Amanda Crowley, and Peyton Dukas all with their first goal of the season here against UMass Boston. The goal from Amanda Crowley coming at 16:09. The goal from Dukas coming at 16:50. So goals 41 seconds apart have taken what was a 2-1 lead for UMass Boston and put the Huskies ahead for the first time in this match. Timeout here from Dom Losey to try and get her team and their legs back under them, but it's been all Southern Maine here in this second period. And even when UMass Boston has had chances on the power play, Kelsey Ryan stands out as a player that's had a couple of chances. It's been sloppy at best, though.
Yeah, it has not been a good period. I don't think it's been a good game for UMass Boston. They were able to take the 2-0 lead because of their power play goals, but 5-on-5, they've kind of been handled. And right now, this is up to this Beacons group. You played so well, but this would be a tough loss to handle. You see the turnover right at the top, find a player low in the slot. That goes underneath the right armpit of Flag. This is do or die time right now for UMass Boston. All the momentum going in the Southern Maine's way. Can you get to the locker room down 3-2 or tied 3-3? You cannot afford to give up another goal here with the way Southern Maine is playing.
And Southern Maine feeling it right now, banging their sticks on the bench. All the momentum seemed to be going UMass Boston's way, especially when scoring, with just 0.3 seconds remaining in the first period to take that 2-0 lead. But then Grace Simmons scores 51 seconds into the second and completely changed complexion of this contest. So Peyton Dukas from Julianne Nelson. And now maybe another chance here, 2-on-1. Southern Maine strikes again, and Flag able to answer that.
Another turnover by a Beacons player just shy of their own blue line, making it easier. That time it was Jane Ann Drill, and now in the shot block, Falieris is slow to get up.
She'll work her way back to the bench, shaking that off. And now turnover here by Southern Maine. Fisher and Lund. Neither can connect on that pass. 3-on-2, back up ice here for Southern Maine. Nolan sails that well wide. But plenty of time there for Delaney O'Connor to come over and hold that puck inside the zone. Now Ryan made contact with O'Connor.
Ryan made contact with O'Connor, but O'Connor nearly hit her in the face there with a high stick reaching out for the puck. That was close to a penalty on both players.
Kozik with a nice knockdown there at center ice. As Ryan comes in hard on the forecheck. Ryan able to pick off a pass, but what a poke away there by Simmons. Now Simmons, who got things started here in the second period for Southern Maine. Nolan away from the pinching defense of Grace Fisher. Fisher can't hold on side. That'll start another 2-on-1 rush. Nelson along with Picnic, and what a back check there, timely by Leffler. Leffler will take matters in her own hands. Leffler wide of Simmons. Lost control, got it back, blind centering pass. No one there for UMass Boston as we have a minute to go in this second period. Drill. Walks it away. Nice pass for Leffler. Out there with a broken line, and Kehoe on her wing. Rest of the third line ready to come on the ice. It'll be Nolan and Sacco joining Kehoe. And Drill gets a gift at her own blue line. But no one there for the breakout pass. Couple of hooks. And now Sacco tripped up. No call. No, will be a call. And a power play late once again for UMass Boston. Can Lightning strike twice here with 26.6 seconds remaining until the intermission?
Man, that is just the break the Beacons needed. Mike, if the Beacons are going to win this game, not only do they need a couple of goals, they need to clean up their play. Too often today we've seen the Beacons turn the puck over between the top of their own defensive zone and right at the blue line of the offensive zone. That's what can create odd man rushes, and we've seen it a ton here in the second period, leading to good offense for Southern Maine.
Almost held on side by Buddington. And then Saxer. Past Doty. No one there for UMass Boston. And 15 seconds to go. Kehoe, make that fella Harris will try and turn on side. Shannon Colbert would not be denied as Drill puts a big check in on Colbert. She got away with one right there.
Yeah, I think Drill, the only reason she got away with it is because she showed that she was trying to pull up as the Southern Maine player came at her. The good news for the Beacons is they've got a minute 34 to begin the third period. The bad news is that they were just dominated heavily here in period number 2, one of their worst periods of the season at home. And the stats, which, again, this is why they're stats and we play the game, should have tilted in favor of UMass Boston. Beacon's best period this year, the second. Southern Maine's best period, the third. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone that way, and the Beacons now are going to have to come up with a big third period to get a point or possibly 2.
Well, 3-2 here for Southern Maine, trying to make it 4 straight wins against UMass Boston and sweep this season series here in 2019-2020. And here during the second intermission, the subject of our Beacon Spotlight is Kaylee Kozik, having a great season now. 12 points in 19 games for the sophomore, and she talks about how she played for the East Coast Select team and how it afforded her opportunity to travel, play against European competition, and how it stacks up against all the competition here at the collegiate level. Listen to Kaylee Kozik right here during the second intermission.
Select Hockey is a tournament team, and each spring or summer, we would go to a different place in Europe. I met a lot of different girls through the Selects program. It was called East Coast Select, so basically anybody on the East Coast played for it. And then when we went abroad, we would meet different people from all over different countries. We traveled a bunch of places to Europe. The first year we went to Iceland and Sweden, and then we went to Italy, Germany, Prague. And then my favorite place would probably either be Iceland, just because it's so different from anything here. It's just really cool experience, or Italy, just because it's so beautiful. So actually we were there on my birthday. It was my 14th birthday, which was pretty cool. And we went to this place called the Blue Lagoon. The Blue Lagoon is just a man-made ginormous spa. Basically, you could swim around anywhere. It's a different bridge you can go under, different little sections from the different volcanoes from a while ago that made the spa. My favorite part about Italy was going to Venice and taking the gondola tours, and also the food was really good. Most of the European countries were a lot more aggressive. They were a lot trippier, dirtier, especially Russia compared to us, but other than that, style of play was pretty much the same. A bunch of the girls on my team actually go to school here in Boston. A lot of them go to Boston College, so I stay in touch with them. We went to the BC game a couple weeks ago, actually, and I caught up with a couple of my old teammates. And one of my best friends, who also played for Selects, goes to Northeastern, and so we go to their games a lot too. It was definitely very helpful for college. It was very competitive, especially at such a young age. Learning to compete and play with so many different people was great experience for college.
And so Kaylee Kozik, subject of our Beacon Spotlight. Let's take a look at the second period stats and what a difference one period makes here. As the shots now 25-21 in favor of Southern Maine. And when you take in the period totals, that means the Huskies had the 16-8 shot advantage over the Beacons in that second period. And, well, don't forget, UMass Boston also had another 2 power plays as well.
Yeah, the Beacons unable to capitalize on their power play chances, although that 6th one, they've still got a minute 34. The other thing to watch is the Beacons were, 10-2 on the faceoff in the first period. So Southern Maine wins, is only down 10-9 in that second period, and we saw them on their power play chances doing a little bit better of a job of winning the faceoff, keeping the puck in the zone. I've been impressed with what I've seen from Southern Maine. They've done a great job getting in the shooting lane, 17 block shots. They've shown some good team speed. For UMass Boston, this is kind of a put up or shut up period. They got dominated in the second, not only outshot, out-hustled, made some bad turnovers. This team is capable of coming back in this game. They've got the firepower with Leffler, Kozik, McDougal, Ryan. To me, it comes down to, can they play a smarter defensive game? Because we saw way too many turnovers in that second period. We didn't see the good zone coverage that we're used to seeing. They made it a lot more difficult on Katie Flagg in period number 2.
I mean, you talk about period number 2 and period number 1. We look at the scoring as UMass Boston took the 2-0 lead. Jane Andrill in the power play, Kelsey Ryan at 19:59, right before the end of the period to make it a 2-0 lead. And then from there, Grace Simmons really got the ball rolling the other way for the Huskies, scoring 51 seconds in, beating Katie Flagg from a long shot that got through a screen into the top left corner of Flagg's net. Then Amanda Crowley left alone in front to put in a rebound after Flagg made 2 point-blank saves. Peyton Dukas off of a turnover by UMass Boston 41 seconds later, fooling Flagg and sneaking that by the netminder 3-2 here. So you look at the keys here for UMass Boston coming into this game. It was win the special teams battle. They have 2 power play goals, and they've been able to kill off 2 5-on-3s. Score the first goal. They were able to do that. Jane Andrill making it 1-0 in 11:03 of the first, and making life difficult for Whitney Paget, netminder for Southern Maine. And they've done that. She's made 19 saves. So plenty of rubber in on the netminder. So you look at all the keys. Unfortunately, when it's all said and done, it's been the 5-on-5 play here in the second period. That has been the difference. Let's take a look around Beaconville track and field. Where are they? They're at the NEICAA Championship. Is that the NEIC AAA Championship? Either way, that's where they are competing today. And right after this game, men's hockey hosting number 1 Norwich at 7 p.m. The puck drop there. Men's hockey able to get a big win last Saturday after exploding for 9 goals on Friday night. They kept it going on Saturday, down in New England College 4-1. Let's take a look at how it all went down here at Barry Ice Rink last Saturday. Alumni weekend last weekend, and the alumni heading home happy after that 4-1 win over NEC. Let's take a look at the NEHC scoreboard. Suffolk and New England College, same as it was after the first period, tied up 1-1 after the second. Castleton and Johnson & Wales, they'll begin in about 45 minutes. Anna Maria and Plymouth State at 6 p.m. And then the late game, compared to the rest, Norwich at Salem State for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Let's look ahead because the 4-game homestand carries on here for UMass Boston. Castleton tomorrow for a 1 p.m. puck drop, a game that should be number 2 versus number 3 somewhere in the NEHC, and then winnable games here for the Beacons both next Tuesday and next Saturday against Connecticut College and Plymouth State.
Yeah, you're looking at a Beacons team that every single one of these games at home should be winnable. I mean, this Beacons team has played extremely well. That Plymouth State game, senior day next Saturday for the Beacons, large group of seniors. Castleton, huge game. Even that Cotton College game, the regular season finale, their 5th game against the NESCAC team. Beacons have done a really nice job in their last 3. An overtime loss to Bowdoin, 2-1 win over number 10 Colby, and a 2-0 loss to number 2 Middlebury. They've shown that they can compete with some of these top talented teams out of the New England Small College Athletic Conference.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from the second period of play. Unfortunately, not many for UMass Boston. Southern Maine doing all the scoring in this second period.
Well, it starts with this early goal as Bree Colucci, it looks like, takes away the eyes there of Katie Flagg. And that really made it a little bit more difficult for Flagg on the good shot from distance from Grace Simmons. And then as we go along, the Beacons will get a couple of chances before it's all Southern Maine late. This is the good chance for Julia Nolan, who got a little bit behind it, but it's a glove save from Paget. Now we got a great look from Falieris, who's denied, and then off of the rebound, it creates a mini chance. I think it's Kozik at the near post. As you see Falieris, and then the puck almost gets all the way over to Kozik, unable to get there. Finally, Bree Colucci with that nice backhand chance, but there's no one around the net for UMass Boston, making it a lot easier on Paget and the Southern Maine team, and then it is all Southern Maine. First one of their looks on the power play. They have their second 5-on-3 chance of the game, unable to do anything. This is a good look from Ryan. Nolan stripped of the puck. Ryan goes out wide, backhand chance, just a little wide of the far post, maybe a little high as well. And then we've got, after this, here's the down low angle, and we'll see just how far Ryan misses by here with the backhand, and it's further than you would have expected from up top, but still a good chance. I like the idea. And here's the chances. Flagg able to make a stop on this 2-on-1, but it shows the quality of chances Southern Maine is getting. And here's the look at the second of Southern Maine's 2 goals. Nope, this is the second angle on this. This is the second goal, right off the power play. It's taken to the net hard. A really good job there by Katie Nolan, and followed up at the back post by Amanda Crowley as the Beacons get caught puck watching a little bit. And you see it here. Nolan comes in, knocks it off a flag, second chance. Everyone's puck watching, and Crowley able to get inside of Erica Lund there at the back post. And finally, the last chance. This is probably the one that Katie Flagg would like back. Turnover right at the blue line. Southern Maine does a great job. It's Nelson finding Dukas, and Dukas goes underneath the armpit there. Kind of a difficult height for a goalie where it forces her to get up a little bit, and it just comes off maybe the bottom of the top of the stick, maybe her pads, and in. And a tough way to end the period is Southern Maine scores 2 goals in 41 seconds late in the period to take a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, tough to completely fault Flagg with that one after a turnover and a shot that came in from pretty close. But if there was a save like she would want to have back, or maybe a save you need if you're the Beacons, it's probably at that point to keep it a tied score. But UMass Boston will begin its third period with a minute and 34 seconds of carryover power play time from the end of the second, looking to perhaps have a strong third like Southern Maine had a very strong start to the second, and there went in the second 20 minutes of hockey for the Huskies. But for now, we will take a break. When we return, the third period of play, Seth and I will bring you the action on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, or it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Third period about to begin here for the UMass Boston Beacons and Southern Maine Huskies. Beacons trail 3-2, trying to keep the winning streak alive here in the NEHC. 7 straight coming into this contest. Southern Maine trying to make it 3 straight wins and sweep this season series, and also chance to make it 4 straight wins 4 straight wins in a row here in the all-time series, or head-to-head series versus the Beacons. At center ice, Leffler will step in against Shannon Colbert.
And Mike, it's imperative for the Beacons. 1:35 on the power play. You want to win the faceoff, get set up deep, and create some chances here. See if you can get a goal right away, tie this game, and put the pressure back on the Huskies.
Buddington holds inside the blue line. Lund, far circle. Back and forth here with the defenseman. Lund with a shot. Padgett with the save. Lund will retreat back on defense and allow Colbert the free pass out to center ice.
Mike, there's a change on this Beacons top unit. Buddington replaces Colucci. We talked about it. Colucci lost some minutes there after being out of the ice for 2 of the 3 goals, and they're trusting the freshman a lot, the lone defenseman on this top unit.
And now Ryan trying to get away from the back pressure coming here from Juliana Nelson. Leffler able to get it all the way down in the zone. Now Sacco and Leffler combined to get this puck back here for UMass Boston, but it is finally free here for Buddington. Lund all the way across. Nice pass, finds Ryan. Now in the high slot, Leffler slides to Buddington. Lund left circle, and she whizzes that wide of Padgett once again. Now Ryan down the corner for Sacco. Buddington looking for the redirect, wasn't there. Instead of a blocker save, now Lund up high. Padgett has that now, and she will hold for the whistle. 11 seconds before the Huskies get back to full strength.
Beacons are going to bring out the second unit, and in fact, they're not even going to bring out the second unit. Saxer will be the second defenseman here, so more of a traditional group of 5. I liked what that top unit did for UMass Boston. They were actually able to get pucks to the net, which is something we saw them struggle with in the second period on their power plays, just unable to take away the eyes of Padgett enough to really test her.
Now Saxer able to pick off a clearing attempt. Drill, who had the opening goal here for UMass Boston. As the Huskies back to full strength, Drill cuts in front. Couldn't let loose before that puck rolled off the heel of her stick, and it'll start at 3-on-2, now maybe 3-on-1 the other way. Low shot, flag with the save as Katie Nolan wanted to do better with that, but she has the puck once again.
Great play by Hannigan for Southern Maine to tip it off the stick of Drill, who was trying to get a shot from the low slot. That was a nice breakup.
A nice play by Kozik to hold the wall there. Drill off the back of McDougall's skates. Drill will continue the pressure into the zone. Now she's off sides, and everyone has to touch up for the Beacons. So the Beacons now 1-for-6 on the power play. Able to score in their second chance, but have been held off the scoreboard ever since. Kozik able to pull free. Now she has a step. Kozik fires, and a pad save that time by Padgett. Her best save of the game, perhaps.
Kozik, frustrated, slams her stick on the ice on her way back to the bench. She knew that she needed to get it either a little higher or a little further out wide. Made it just a little bit easier on Paget, who has been really good here after giving up 2 goals in the first period.
Nolan working hard to control his puck for UMass Boston. Cycle pass in behind for Kehoe. Now too hard for Nolan. Colucci cycles back along the wall. A little shove there from Shannon Colbert. Nolan, the senior, continues to battle along the boards. 3 Huskies in on 2 Beacons. Nolan not giving it up. Neither is Kehoe. Jabbed at. As the battle carries on here, Sacco pries it loose. It goes all the way around here for Jordan Colbert and the freshman defenseman. We'll get it down now, and transition time for the Beacons. Third line has been out there for a while. Kehoe trying to gain the red line, does so. Will backhand all the way around and head to the bench for a change. Now over the boards, Leffler, along with Ryan and soon to be Lund. As Fisher thought to go for a change, instead will stay on the ice, as icing will be the call against Southern Maine. And though the Beacons haven't been able to tie things up yet here with 3:47 gone in the third period, already looking much better than what we saw in the second.
Yeah, I like how they came out. Better energy, better chances. They've been minimizing some of those bad turnovers. And one really good chance, that Kozik chance, just needed, again, a little bit higher, a little bit wider out. Paget with a good save, but that was certainly one of the best chances we've seen for UMass Boston since the first period.
Ryan trying to sky it off the glass to herself, did so, and then when she made a move to the net, poke check there by Paget. Icing seemingly the call once again on UMass. Make that Southern Maine, and so it is as whistle comes.
Love to see the Beacons call up one of their face-off plays, win the face-off back, try to move the puck a little bit so Paget's not square to the puck and get a good shot on target. Drill will be the far defenseman. She's got one of the best slap shots in the Beacons.
But this time a clean face-off win by Southern Maine, one of the few ones they've had so far, as Drill at center ice. And offside as Leffler couldn't clear the zone fast enough. 26 shots here for Southern Maine, 25 for UMass Boston. So Whitney Paget has topped 23 so far. UMass Boston averaging just under 30 minutes a game, 30 shots per game, so a bit ahead of the pace here against Southern Maine.
Yeah, during this 3-game unbeaten streak for Southern Maine, the Beacons have outshot the Huskies in all 3 games, but gotten great goaltending. This is the closest the 2 teams have been in terms of generating shots and honestly generating goals, a much higher scoring goal game than we're used to between these 2 sides.
Southern Maine averaging just 1.75 goals per game as a shot comes just wide. Kozik was there, set up for the tip. Just missed on that one. Now backhand pass across the crease. Who's got it now? It's McDougall. Kozik hand passes to herself. That's legal. But Kozik doesn't have the moves to get by Simmons initially. Instead, it's over to McDougall. Trying to quick backhand, a forehand move, lost control. Wrist shot towards Paget. Squirts loose, and Paget will just sweep it to the corner away from danger.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Beacons were in the midst of a change there because all of the Southern Maine defensemen were occupied with the Beacons skater. There had been one more forward. They might have had a chance at that backside where the puck had just slowly slid through.
Kehoe off the mark there for her pass back for Fisher. And Fisher quickly exits out here for Saxer. Tick-toe passing as Sacco denied entry. Time step up there by Butkus. It rolls free for Riley Bennett. Bennett, so far 4 goals this season, tied for the team lead last year with 8, and that puck goes off of her stick out of play. So no chance for the 5th right now, but a face-off to ensue to the right of flag.
And these are really important plays for UMass Boston. We saw them struggle a little bit off the draw in the second period. It led to the second goal. They made some sloppy turnovers in their zone that led to some good chances. As much as they're trying to press for that 3rd goal, it's just as important that they don't give one up, especially early here in the 3rd period.
Again, there was Shannon Douglas for the high tip. Was tied up, but still didn't make contact with that puck. And flag strong to make the save. Loeffler. She's covered up along the wall. Ryan and Buddington was in the area to play that puck. So they wave off icing flag. Won the play instead. Will wisely retreat back to her crease. And Loeffler, all she can do is skitter it out to center. As line change, time for both teams perhaps. Line's been getting in the way of that puck. And so it stands there in front of the penalty box to be handled here by UMass Boston. Ryan at the end of her shift will try and get something going here late for UMass Boston. That shot from the goal line stopped and held on to by Paget.
I like that play from Kelsey Ryan. You mentioned late in her line shift. All right, let's try to get the goalie to cover up. Let's get an offensive zone draw. Get that second line out there. See if we can generate something off the offensive zone draw.
Face-offs have been a much different story here through the second half of the game. Young angles it back to the point. That finds Simmons. Her pass intended for Young, instead intercepted by Saxer, but a little too much hesitation on the pass up ice, giving Nelson a chance to come on over and knock that back down to the UMass Boston side of things.
The Beacons are playing better here in the third period. The issue is Southern Maine is playing better as well. A lot of confidence after that 3-goal second period.
Very aggressive forecheck here for Southern Maine as Kozik lets loose from the hash marks right into the chest of Paget, almost daring them to complete 2 or 3 passes, which will create odd man rushes up ice, but they're saying, you got to get it by us first, not once but twice.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job of it. The one player who's been able to just skate right past Southern Maine and generate some chances is Kozik, who just had another look on target.
We'll give John Lozier, head coach for Southern Maine, some credit. He's made some good adjustments between the first and second periods to get Southern Maine going in the right direction and have them with a 3-2 lead. Puck in behind Southern Maine. Crowley, who tied things up late in the second period. She'll watch as Sklusacek takes it back on side. Now Butkus will find a loose puck. That shot didn't miss by much. All right, now UMass Boston seeing a step slow on this shift.
It's been a long shift for this second line. Had a couple of face-offs, but they've probably been out there for about a minute 30 of actual game time.
You can see McDougall dead tired. Taking a lot of effort to get off the ice. So Kehoe on the ice along with Nolan. This line has been good tonight for UMass Boston. Nolan stood up by Simmons, but still will fight by, looking for that loose puck. Jordan Colbert stymied by Nolan behind the net. Now Kehoe was there in the area, but a nice tape-to-tape pass and fired out here by Douglas. Colucci with a little shoulder fake in on Riley Bennett. Forward not fooled initially, but Colucci able to pull away eventually. Now Nolan turned it over. Able to be enough of a pass to get that puck free. Loeffler fresh off the bench. Too many Husky defenders in her way, so she'll give it up, and Southern Maine will start south to north. Nelson. No one there. Loeffler had that bounce away from her. Back to the Huskies' possession. And Jordan Colbert rink wide. And stolen away here for Buddington. Buddington gains red line and will just send it all the way around the wall. Ryan got a piece of that clearing attempt, but as she tried to make a move, turned it over. Buddington back in the neutral zone, and the Beacons will take a moment to reset. Drill for Lund. Again, an untrue carom off the boards, making life difficult for Lund.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating period for UMass Boston in general. They really haven't had much space, and they've had a couple bad bounces. It's interesting. It feels like the Beacons need a power play or some kind of odd man rush to create. And here's the power play as Loeffler bumped off, and the Southern Maine fans not happy.
As Loeffler was engaged with one defender, Crowley came over and got the shoulder and the chest of Loeffler. And a much-needed man advantage perhaps here for UMass Boston about to begin. Off for 2 minutes. Crowley for checking at 10:16. And so power play number 7, and one that UMass Boston needs for a spark perhaps.
Yeah, the Beacons 2 of 6 on the day. both of their goals coming on the power play in the first period, need to generate some chances. Don't have to score here, but have to take some of the momentum back by putting the Huskies on their heels.
Trying to force that way through traffic as McDougal watches that get intercepted and cleared all the way down.
Yeah, and that's been the problem. The Beacons are pressing a bit here. They've tried to force a few too many things, making it easier on the Huskies defense.
Now Buddington along with Falieris and McDougal. McDougal, time to get it along for Kozik, and now the power play will set up here. Kozik around the net. Center blue line here for Buddington. Back on the second unit now for UMass Boston. As Kozik took too long to fire the pass away. Doty knocks her off the puck, and again, it seems like the timing just a hair off or a hair late here for UMass Boston.
Yeah, it's not been great decision-making. It feels like the Beacons are a little bit tired at this point, which there's no excuse because this is game one of a two-game weekend. UMass Boston's used to this. They've just been worn down a little bit by this Southern Maine team.
Falieris, though, seemingly skating with a purpose. Passing the traffic again. Kozik. Into the high slot. Ryan. Back here for Kozik as they try to change complexion of the setup here. Ryan with all sorts of traffic. Now Colucci. Down deep here for Ryan. Ryan, low shot, and they got the rebound they wanted. As Leffler was out to center ice. Looked like there were only 4 players on the offensive zone there for a lot of that series. Now taken away, shot, and that goes high and wide from Nelson.
Yeah, Colucci again stripped, and you're right, Mike. There were 4 players out on the ice for about 15, 20 seconds because the Beacons made 2 changes at 2 different points, made it easier on Southern Maine. Ryan looked back at the slot. There was no one there, and it nearly caused a turnover.
So power play quickly expires here for UMass Boston. Leffler being pressed from behind, able to get free, but then stepping up at the exact right time, Jordan Colbert.
Southern Maine's defense has done a great job here in the third period, minimizing the Beacons' chances, getting some big stick checks, getting some big shot deflections. They've been really good.
Now Ryan remains on the ice after the conclusion of the power play. Fisher had to play that on the backhand and couldn't keep it inside the zone as we have 7 minutes to go in regulation. Still 3-2 here for Southern Maine. Now rush up ice for Bennett. Shot off the crossbar.
Just about to say, it feels like every bounce is going against the Beacons. That is a very fortuitous bounce. Clean shot that beat flag, and fortunate that it run the crossbar.
Leffler, nice pass over to McDougal, onside with Kozik. McDougal fired it right into his skate. Now Nelson, make that Nolan turned off the puck. Falieris kicks it along. Pulls wide of Picnic. In the slot area, Picnic was there. Didn't see Kozik coming, so it's back here for Falieris. Just not a lot of room to maneuver as now Saxer will fire. Kozik looking for that redirect as she took a wave after it. And then a penalty upcoming here on Drill. Went for the puck, only found the skates, and UMass Boston will head to the penalty kill.
Yeah, Drill pinching forward, trying to keep the play alive. I like the idea. Unfortunately, she trips up Katie Nolan, and the Beacons on the penalty kill for the 5th time today. Thus far, 4 of 4. It feels like you're playing with fire here. Plus, 6:17 to go. Even if you get a successful kill, that takes a third of the time left in this game, and the Beacons need that goal. One other factor, the Beacons don't have a timeout. So if they have some tired legs out there, Dom Losey can't use that break to call up a player to give her some of her skaters a little bit of a respite.
Every time the Beacons have gone 5-on-4 here in this game, ensuing penalty has made it 5-on-3 against, as Flag watches the redirect just goes wide. Too much stick handling there from Buddington, but the puck fortunately finds Colucci, and she'll send it the length.
Yeah, UMass Boston has to be very strong here, getting into passing lanes, and they can't afford to take another penalty. They cannot make this a 2.5, 3-minute power play for Southern Maine with this little time left in the game.
If UMass Boston takes another penalty here on a 5-on-4, you might see the Beacons skating some Herbies after the game. The only thing that might save them is the men's game afterwards.
And the fact that they've got a game tomorrow. Monday's practice could be brutal.
Now turnover here, Kozik trying to outrace Picnic. Got position, now Kozik has the puck as Picnic leans in on her. And gathered up here by Southern Maine. Colucci back the other way. Leffler unable to get in the way of Picnic. Now Colucci marking Picnic, who works away in the high slot. Glove down by Saxer. And then a big save by Flagg as Saxer and Colucci collide here on the PK. Saxer struggling to get back to her feet. So a 5-on-3 essentially here for UMass Boston as Saxer now back in the play.
Yeah, Saxer took a hard hit from her teammate and keeps readjusting her helmet. Wonder if she's feeling 100%.
That's the second time we've seen Saxer, the unfortunate recipient of a collision, and now Saxer went down.
I think Saxer got slashed or a high stick underneath the helmet. That's a big call against Southern Maine late in this power play, and she is got to be hurting a lot right now. As call is going to go against Nolan once again. They're going to get a high stick.
That's 8 penalty minutes here on Nolan in this game, bringing her season total to 28, by far leading Southern Maine in that dubious category. So 17 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey before a big power play coming up here for the Beacons.
And Saxer heads right off the bench to be tended to by Alexa Capione and the Beacons head trainer Ed Perkins. Hopefully she's okay, as the Beacons down to 4 defensemen here with 4:34 to go in the game.
So high sticking the call. Dukas, who has the go-ahead goal right now for Southern Maine, trying to go end-to-end along with Nelson. And UMass Boston with the power play now beginning. Drill calling for the puck as she came out of the penalty box, but instead a shot that goes off the outside of the net after Falieres turned it over down low. Now a second chance maybe here for Southern Maine. Butkus, that's blocked, and just an absolute scramble here by the Beacons as they try and get things going on the power play. Drill will settle things down. Drill onside along with McDougall. Drill calls for the puck vehemently down in the corner. Falieres towards the net, no one there. And easily cleared out here by the Huskies.
Mike, I know it's controversial. I would think about pulling the goalie here, give you a 6-on-4 chance, just in the way the Beacons have struggled on the power play in this third period.
Falieres has struggled in particular here on the man advantage as Drill. She is hooked off from behind, but it comes right back to Kozik. Waits, fire, saved by Paget. The best shot in a while here for Southern Maine. Make that UMass Boston. This goes out of play off of UMass Boston. And so this face-off out the center ice. The only problem with the 6-on-4 advantage is with Southern Maine on the penalty kill, they can fire towards the empty net with reckless abandon.
True, but UMass Boston's got to generate something, and you figure if you've got the power play, maybe you can get a little bit more. The Beacons just had 3 players out there on the power play, and fortunate that puck ended up in the Southern Maine bench so it didn't go down the length of the ice. UMass Boston hasn't generated anything on this power play thus far, about 1 minute and 40 seconds with the earlier penalty to Drill, and they've given up a good shorthanded chance.
Now Leffler trying to change that as she loops in behind the net. Able to skate away from Jordan Colbert. Leffler still has it. Leffler fires from the slot, saved by Paget. They've been looking for that play all power play long. Now Colucci over to Ryan. Ryan waits an old save by Paget as that hesitation allowed Paget to get from post to post and square up to the shooter.
Seen it a couple of times. Ryan hasn't gotten the puck when she wanted or hasn't been able to get the shot right off. You really like a one-timer there, unable to do so, and it allows Paget to get over. 1 second left on the power play, so we'll go back to 5-on-5, and you wonder at what point does Dom Losey pull Katie Flagg, especially without a timeout.
Colucci keeps inside the zone. Knocked down here by Ryan. Southern Maine, power play for UMass Boston over. Now Leffler spins away from her man. Lund couldn't catch up to that pass. Buddington, nice pinch down from the blue line, but it goes back here to the Huskies unless Ryan can get there first, and she cannot. So cleared back on side by the Beacons. 2 minutes to go. Leffler, 1-on-1 behind the net. No one to stop and get that puck, so that allows Colbert to come down deep. Flagg stays in her net to our left. Colucci changes up. Leffler open, out there for an extended shift. Down the right side here for Leffler. Drop pass for Ryan. Give and go with Leffler, overskated. Ryan pokes it back over to Leffler. Now Falieres open in the slot. Instead, it's to the point for Drill. Drill, half walls, flag, heads to the bench for the extra attacker. Into the slot area. Blocked there by Southern Maine, and now an empty net for the Huskies as Kozik tripped up at center ice, but she has the puck here for UMass Boston. If they can get some clean possession, they cannot. Drill. And now to Colucci. Colucci, she goes down the ice. This goes wide of the empty net. Will this be icing? They say no. Now Drill, she's pushed off the puck. She takes down Nolan. And this has been absolute madcap here for the Beacons. Now with a minute to go, Kozik off the wall to herself once again. Who's going to join her on the rush for UMass Boston as they finally get in the zone? Valieris, Leffler out there as well. Kozik along with Ryan. It's Sklasicek just trying to play us away from danger. Ryan plays to the blue line, drill line and fire. Long shot that just missed 37 seconds ago. Colucci now on the near side. Her shot blocked again as she tries to tie up her man. And they say carry on out the center. Leffler is bumped. Rolls free into the Southern Maine zone as Sklasicek will now take it deep. Pass her over to Butkus. Time wasting away here for the Beacons. Dug out, but it goes back to Southern Maine, slowly out to center ice. Everyone has a touch up here for UMass Boston as it's shot on side. That doesn't accomplish very much except waste some more time, give Southern Maine possession, and that's how this will end. So the 7-game winning streak over for UMass Boston. Southern Maine comes from behind to defeat the Beacons 3-2 and has now made it 4 straight wins over UMass Boston.
A really strong performance from Southern Maine over the final 40 minutes. Mike, we talked about it at the end of the first period, the Beacons scoring a power play goal with 0.3 seconds left. How would that affect these two sides? We thought the Beacons could come out and maybe roll in this game after they were able to go 2 for 2 on the power play, or scored 2 goals in the power play. Instead, Southern Maine came out strong in the second period, and while the Beacons were a much better version of themselves in the third, it wasn't enough. This is a great defensive performance by Southern Maine, another strong performance by Paget, and honestly, they were able to skate with the Beacons tonight for the first time during these 4 games. Really impressive from Southern Maine. A little bit deflating for UMass Boston. It puts even more pressure on tomorrow's game against Castleton. They've got to get some points out of this weekend.
And so we'll step aside here at Barry Ice Rink. When we return, we'll have your Beacons post-game show on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. What I want to do is I want to work with women and children transitioning out of sexual slavery in Southeast Asia and helping them to find jobs, find housing, provide counseling, just the things that we kind of take for granted. Because I won the Chancellor's Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope in Cambodia, and it was just an amazing opportunity to just be able to get firsthand experience working with a human rights research project. Cambodia was really ravaged by a genocide, so there's a lot of rebuilding that's happening. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Hello and welcome back here on the Beacons postgame show. I'm Mike O'Brien. Tough loss here for UMass Boston as they drop a 3-2 decision to Southern Maine. Their record now 11-8-1 overall, 7-5 in the NEHC, and that 7-game winning streak comes to an end. But let's take a look at the stats because UMass Boston able to outshoot the Southern Maine Huskies 11-2 in that third period. Unfortunately, it did not net the game-tying goal, 32-27, the shots in favor of UMass Boston. Had a pretty hefty face-off advantage throughout the course of the game, though it was much better in the first period. Southern Maine able to battle back there. UMass Boston 2 for 8 on the power plays as they go 5 for 5 on the penalty kill. So you have everything kind of what you wanted for UMass Boston. You score the first goal, you score 2 power play goals, and you shut out Southern Maine on their man advantage, but unfortunately 5-on-5 play the difference and just a down stretch at a key time for the Beacons as they drop this one today. Let's go to the scoring summary because it was a tale of 2 different periods. UMass Boston using the power play to score not once but twice. It was Jane Ann Drill, 10-13, and then the big goal by Kelsey Ryan that went off a skate and through the pads of Paget with just 0.3 seconds remaining until the intermission. But from there, the tide started to turn with that goal by Grace Simmons, 51 seconds in. UMass Boston getting outshot 16-8 in the second period, and a couple of tough turnovers lead to goals by Amanda Crowley and Peyton Dukas, 41 seconds apart, 3-2 after 2 periods, and UMass Boston getting 11 shots in on net during that third period, but only a few of high-quality grade and not really able to challenge Whitney Paget very often there in the third period, and so they fail to score the equalizer. Let's look at the 3 stars of the game, and not a complete sweep for Southern Maine, but pretty close. We give the 3rd star to Kelsey Ryan, who had her 7th goal of the season, bringing to her tie for 2nd behind Katie Leffler. Meanwhile, Whitney Paget, 30 saves on 32 shots, keeping UMass Boston at bay, especially in that third period. And Peyton Dukas, one of 3 Huskies players scoring their first goal of the season here this afternoon, but she had the game winner, and so she is your 1st star of the game. As we now look ahead here for UMass Boston, all of a sudden tomorrow's game against Castleton, huge, needing to pick up at least 2 points out of the weekend. Puck drop 1 p.m. here at Barry Ice Rink. Connecticut College and Plymouth State, the opponents next week, finishing up the 4-game homestand for UMass Boston, as home has not been kind here to the Beacons so far this season, as they are now 5-6 on home ice. Away, though, 6-2-1, and they may need to make hay with their road schedule remaining here and finishing up the 2019-20 season. So that's going to do it for us here on this afternoon and now almost tonight's broadcast as we take a look at the production team. I want to thank our producer, Allie Crawford, directors, Gigi Braga and Kelly Danahy. Allie Crawford also handling the instant replay. And our camera operators here today, Jared Colte, Colin Ford, Haley Catania, Jalila Ocampo, and Isa Andrade. So for Seth Lorensky joining me earlier on the call, I'm Mike O'Brien. The final score here tonight, UMass Boston 2, the Southern Maine Huskies 3. Thank you for tuning in on the Beacons Broadcast Network, and we will see